Most entrepreneurs burn out because they chase freedom without structure. They confuse chaos with creativity. We live in the most comfortable time in human history. Everything is instant, everything is easy, everything is soft. And yet, more men than ever are tired, numb, lost, weak, angry without knowing why. It's not because they are lazy, it's because they've been lied to. We were told that if we could finally relax, we'd feel better. That if we made enough money, if we bought the house, if we scrolled enough or got enough likes, we'd finally be fulfilled. But here's the truth. Comfort is a slow death. It dulls your mind, it softens your body, and it kills your purpose. Most of the men I coach, they are not weak, they are just disconnected from who they used to be, from who they want to become, from the fire they had at 25 that they buried under routine, responsibility, and excuses. They wake up tired, stare at their phone, skip breakfast, rush to work, sit all day, come home drained, eat whatever's easy, Netflix, sleep like crap, and repeat. And deep down, they know they were meant for more. They feel the guilt, the frustration, the regrets. But here's the trap. Comfort makes them believe they have time. I'll get back in shape later. I'll start waking up early next month. When things slow down, I'll fix my diet. But bro, life doesn't slow down, it speeds up. And one day you look in the mirror and don't recognize the man staring back. That's where I was not long ago. I was doing okay, business, family, lifestyle, but I felt off. Like I was drifting, like I had everything I once wanted, but I wasn't proud anymore. Comfort had crept in and I didn't even see it. That was the moment I realized if I didn't take back control, if I didn't choose discipline over comfort, I would become everything I swore I'd never be. And that's when everything changed. I'm not here to act like I've always been strong. That would be a lie. There was a day, a season where I almost gave up. Not just the training, not just the business. Everything. It was 2018. I had just come out of back surgery, herniated disc. I thought the worst was behind me. But then the real nightmare started. A few days after the surgery, I started feeling a weird pain, then fever, then weakness. The doctors told me it was normal, just inflammation, but my body was shutting down. Turned out I had caught a nosocomial infection, a spondylodiscitis, basically a bacteria eating into my spine. Couldn't walk, I couldn't even turn in my bed, I was paralyzed by pain. 3 months in a bed, no training, no control, nothing. Doctors said it might take a year before I walk again. Some said I might not walk at all. I had to wear a rigid corset for 6 months. My wife had to help me put on my shoes, my socks. I was 37, a professional bodybuilder, a coach, strong, independent, reduced to nothing. And in that bed, I had one question running through my head. What if it's over? What if I never get back? And then the spiral started. Doubt, fear, shame. What's the point? Why keep going? Who am I now? That was my breaking point when everything I thought made me strong was gone. No muscles, no stage, no gym, no routine. But here's what I discovered in that moment. Discipline doesn't come from motivation, it comes from identity. And when I had nothing else, I still had one thing left, a decision. To fight back, to rebuild, to refuse to quit. I started again from zero with a walker, then bands, then machines. My wife loaded the plates for me in the gym, 1 rep at a time, 1 step at a time, 1 day at a time. That's when I stopped chasing perfection and I started chasing discipline. Most people wait to feel ready, to feel good, to feel motivated. Me too, before all this happened, I thought I was disciplined, but what I had was a momentum, not real discipline. Real discipline, it's when you show up with nothing, no energy, no progress, no applause, no plan B, and you still choose to move forward. When I was stuck in that bed, I had every reason to quit. No one would have blamed me. My body was broken, my identity shattered, my future uncertain. But deep down, something refused to die. And that was the part of me I hadn't trained enough. The disciplined version, the one who didn't need motivation, the one who didn't care about how I felt, the one who kept promise when it was inconvenient. Every single day after that point, I started rebuilding, slowly, quietly, painfully. I showed up in the gym when nobody was watching. I logged my food when I couldn't even train properly. I worked on my business lying down with a laptop on my stomach. I kept pushing. And here's what's crazy. The less I waited to feel ready, the stronger I became. Discipline gave me my body back. Discipline gave me my business. Discipline gave me peace. But above all, discipline gave me freedom. Because when you master discipline, you don't need to chase anything. You become the one who builds, who leads, who endures, even when life throws hell at you. That's why I stopped chasing success and I started chasing standards. I don't train just to look good. I train to stay dangerous, to stay clear, to stay ready. Comfort almost cost me everything. Discipline brought me back to life. Discipline isn't just about you, it's about who suffers when you don't show up. As a man, you're not just responsible for your dreams, you're responsible for your presence, your energy, your ability to protect, to provide, to guide. And that hit me even harder when I became a father. My son Nolan, he didn't ask for a superhero. He just needs me to be consistent, present, strong. Not perfect, but dependable. And that only comes with discipline. It's easy to say you'd die for your family. But would you wake up at 5 a.m. every day for them? Would you train when you're tired? Would you stay sharp when no one's watching? That's the real test. Discipline makes you dangerous, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. When I'm disciplined, I'm more passionate with my wife. I listen better, I lead with clarity. I don't bring chaos into home. Discipline helps me say no to distractions, to social media scrolling, to bad food, to bad energy. Because my family deserves the best version of me, not the tired, scattered, overwhelmed version. And my clients, my community, my audience, they don't need another influencer. They need an example. Someone who lives it, who breathes it, who shows that it's possible to be strong, present, and free. Discipline doesn't make you rigid, it makes you reliable. And in a world full of noise, distraction, and weakness, being reliable is rare. Being a rock, that's leadership. You've been told to chase comfort, that the goal is to relax, to slow down, to enjoy life. But let me tell you something I've learned the hard way. Comfort is a lie, a beautiful one, a seductive one, but still a lie. Because here's what comfort really gives you: short-term relief, long-term regret, temporary pleasure, permanent weakness. Comfort tells you you're fine as you are, that you've earned the right to stop pushing, that pain is bad, that if you're tired, you should rest, that if it's hard, it's not meant for you, that you should be happy just being present. But here's the truth: if you're not growing, you're dying. If you're not progressing, you're regressing. If you're not choosing discomfort, you're choosing decay. I've seen it in men over and over again. The moment they get comfortable, they stop chasing, they stop sharpening, they stop leading. They fade. And nobody wants them. Nobody tells them they're losing their edge until it's too late. Until the health fails, the marriage weakens, the spark is gone. See, comfort isn't peace, it's sedation. And peace, real peace, comes from strength, from earning your rest, from knowing you're in control, from looking in the mirror and saying, I'm not perfect, but I'm proud. You don't get that by choosing what's easy. You get that by choosing what's right, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. So no, I don't chase comfort anymore. I chase clarity. I chase legacy. I chase the version of me that my son will look up to. The version I can respect. Let me tell you something most people won't say out loud. Success in business isn't about ideas. It's not about talent. It's not about having the best product. It's about execution. Relentless, repetitive, restless execution. When I started building my business, I didn't have investors, I didn't have a big team, I didn't even speak English fluently. What I had was discipline. I showed up on YouTube every week, I coached clients even when I was in pain. I learned, I failed, I kept going. Most people want to scale, but they're not even consistent at the basics. They want freedom, but can't commit to a schedule. They want impact, but can't manage their own energy. They want growth, but avoid discomfort like the plague. If you're not disciplined in your body, you won't be disciplined in your business. If you don't track what you eat, you won't track your cash flow. Discipline is a system. It's how I've been able to run multiple offers, coach thousands of clients, lead a team, raise my son, and still train 6 days a week. Discipline gives me structure, and structure gives me freedom. Most entrepreneurs burn out because they chase freedom without structure. They confuse chaos with creativity. But when you have discipline, you know exactly when to create, when to rest, when to push, when to let go. I don't rely on motivation to build my business. I rely on non-negotiables. Every morning I know what needs to be done. Content, clients, vision. Not 50 tasks, just the 3 that move the needle. And I do them no matter what. You don't need more tactics. You need more discipline in applying what you already know. Success is simple, not easy, but simple. Show up, do the work, repeat. And when it gets boring, do it better. Nobody talks about this, but success has a trap. And it's not when you're struggling. It's not when you're hungry. It's when you start doing well, when things are okay. When the money comes in, when the followers grow, when people clap and you stop pushing. The most dangerous moment in a man's life isn't rock bottom, it's just enough. Just enough income, just enough comfort, just enough validation. That's when you start telling yourself, I don't need to go that hard, I've done enough. I deserve to slow down. And little by little, you get soft, you stop creating, you stop stretching, you plateau. And worst of all, you convince yourself that's okay. But deep inside, you know it's not because you're no longer growing. And when you stop growing, you start dying. You feel it even if you don't say it. I went through that. After the pain, the comeback, the rebuild, I had a house, a business, a beautiful family, a car I used to dream of. But I wasn't proud. Not like before. Because I knew I was coasting. I was staying in safe zones, doing what worked. Not what scared me. I was still training, still pushing, still coaching, but I wasn't growing. I wasn't leading myself anymore. I was maintaining. And that's not who I want to be. So I made a decision to break everything that was working, to rebuild with fire, with truth, to go international, to start over, to become a global brand, not just a coach. Even if it meant falling again. Because I'd rather fall chasing greatness than stay stuck in a prison called success. So if you're in that place right now, comfortable but not fulfilled, you don't need more results. You need a recommitment to the man you were born to become. Discipline isn't a personality trait. It's a decision, a system, a muscle you build. And like any muscle, you train it every day, especially on the days you don't feel like it. Let me show you what it looks like. Not in theory, in real life. My day starts early, not because I'm a morning person, but because I want to own my mind before the world takes it. No snooze, no scroll, I get up, bathroom, hydration, a few quiet minutes, and I set the tone. I eat almost the same breakfast 90% of the time, not because it's sexy, but because it's simple. One decision made, one distraction eliminated. Then I train because for me, training isn't optional, it's sacred. It clears my head. It reminds me that I'm alive, that I'm capable, that I'm in control. I don't train to look good, I train to stay dangerous, to stay centered. Then it's business. Content, clients, vision. I don't start my day by checking messages. I start by creating, executing. Because if you start in reaction, you stay in reaction all day. In the afternoon, I slow down a bit. Time with my wife, my son, but even there, I'm present by discipline. Not scrolling, not distracted, just there. My food is tracked, my training is locked, my priorities I listed the night before. It's not rigid, it's freeing. I don't waste energy deciding 50 times a day what matters. I already know. Discipline isn't doing 100 things. It's doing a few things well repeatedly until they become part of you. Want more focus? Wake up at the same time. Want better energy? Move your body. Want to win the day? Stop negotiating with your excuses. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your standards. So make your standards non-negotiable. You know who I'm talking to right now. You feel it, that fire, that frustration, that quiet voice in the back of your mind that says you're made for more. You've been coasting, you've been negotiating with your potential. You've built a life that looks good on the outside, but inside something's missing. So let me ask you something. What kind of man did you promise yourself you'd become? Not when you were broke, not when you were desperate, but when you were clear, alive. The day you looked in the mirror and said, I won't settle. That man still lives inside you, but is buried under comfort, under noise, under excuses, and it's time to bring him back. No one's coming to save you. No one's going to give you permission. It's on you to wake up, to fight back, to build that body, that mindset, that life. Not just for you, but for the people counting on you. Your wife, your kids, your team. They don't need a perfect man. They need a present man, a strong man, a disciplined man. So here's your call. Start today, not tomorrow. Don't wait to feel ready. Choose discipline over comfort. Not once, but every damn day. Be the man you promised yourself you'd become, even if nobody believes in him yet. Especially if you've forgotten what it looks like. Because when you become that man, you don't just change life. You give permission to every other man to do the same.